Is a new generation of data privacy and technology lawyer emerging? Let's find out. Welcome to another episode of A Little Privacy, Please. I'm Jason Kravitz, and with me is Jenny Holmes. Together, we lead Nixon Peabody's cybersecurity and privacy practice. Jenny, I'm really excited to introduce our guest today, Christel Teglers, a partner in Kromann Reumert in Copenhagen, Denmark. And she specializes in IT and data protection and cybersecurity issues. And Copenhagen's very special to me because I spent a couple of years there as a kid. But enough about me. Thanks so much for joining us today, Christel.
Thank you, Jenny and Jason. It's good to see you.
So I want to hear your point of view on whether there is, in fact, a new generation of data privacy and technology lawyer emerging, and what specifically is changing.
I think what is definitely changing is we have a digital world that is just becoming more and more regulated. So the old types of regulatory lawyers have traditionally focused very much on data protection and privacy. And then I think we've had the types of more transactional lawyers, like I used to be myself, that focused on commercial contracts and outsourcing and system acquisitions, etc. But what we're seeing now is truly a merger between those two fields. I think if you want to become a really modern technology and data privacy lawyer for the next 20 years, you need to be able to master multiple disciplines covering both AI, data platform economy, cybersecurity, and privacy as well. What I encourage our young lawyers to do is actually to be much more curious within the areas that even they haven't worked with before.
So you mentioned needing to have, an interest in AI and all of the different technology platforms that we're seeing. But what other skill sets do you think an up-and-coming lawyer should have in this area?
I think first and foremost, because there are so many green fields coming right now, data protection is not new, but cybersecurity, many lawyers and businesses, etc., have really struggled to get their arms around what is this in fact, and what does it mean when you have a legal profession and an external counsel. Trying to be curious about what types of products can we actually offer? What is our role as external lawyers when we go to clients? Is it very much the more classical compliance-related work, or can we actually bring some value into both the supply chain and the advice to management? So what I really encourage our young lawyers to do is to try to actually be calm, because it's difficult for all of us with the new technologies coming and then the new regulations coming and all the development within the privacy area. It can actually be quite overwhelming. So I also encourage them to just stay calm and be curious, because we'll get there. And if it's difficult for us, it's also difficult for our competitors and our clients as well.
Christel, I know a big part of your practice involves advising executives and corporate boards on their responsibility for risk management strategies and oversight and governance, particularly in the context of data privacy and cybersecurity. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I
think management or executive and board members, they have for too many years now been used to just receiving reporting from, on the digital area or cybersecurity or IT security without even involving themselves in it. And the liability they have for the overseas role and then the supervision is nothing new. But I think what management have failed to realize is how digital their companies are today. And I think if they knew how exposed they actually were in practice, they should feel much, much less comfortable.
And how is the EU addressing the potential personal liability of executives and board members when it comes to data protection and the cybersecurity compliance?
We have multiple new directives coming, including within cybersecurity, but also AI. So, the whole digital space, we have a very broad scope of regulations. And in many of those directives, it's explicitly stated that the EU expects that the member states, under their national laws, can actually hold the top management liable and accountable for the company's compliance with these rules. And that should actually not be necessary, because the risk management responsibility is nothing new. What I think we will see is a much more focus on a personal liability that executives and board members have. And we will see much more focus actually on their insurances, the advice that they are getting, the training or the courses that they are following in order to limit the risk of a potential liability. That said, I hope and I think that we won't see many cases about personal liability for members of management, because that would be counterproductive. But I think what the EU has helped is to create a much more sense of awareness and urgency on the part of management.
Little Mermaid statute, awesome or overrated?
Overrated.
Danish salt licorice, delicious or disgusting?
Delicious.
And what's your single favorite thing about Denmark?
It's a very comfy country to live in.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of A Little Privacy, Please. Thanks to Christel for spending some time with us, and we'll see you next time. When you said that young attorneys need to remain calm, Jason and I start our team meetings with a little privacy Tai Chi.